Hello and welcome to round number 9 of the GT Club's GT3 Masters. Our very first stream with the GT Club, brand new league that was only formed a little bit earlier this year. Basically focusing on GT3 in Assetto Corsa, and great to have you back after what was a fantastic night of racing last night with the Super GT, and it's great to see that we got quite a few other cars, a few other drivers joining us tonight. Let's have a look at one of them. And if you notice, we have a new little sound mod for the Corvette. That actually sounds pretty good. Anyway, we're looking at Lieutenant Llama, or is that Lieutenant Llama? Someone can correct me in chat. He's currently top of the session. We're still waiting for a few more drivers to join the server. If I have a quick look at the GT Club's Discord, their attendance was looking pretty good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers. Maybe a few more to turn up tonight and go racing. We're looking forward to seeing that. Very exciting little league that has just fired up this year. And of course, they are a partner league of Go Race Promotion Sim Sports. Geez, that Corvette sounds actually really mean. Let's have a look at another car that is new for us. That is the Alfa Romeo 4C, driven by Dravelmir himself. The current reigning GT3 champion in Go Race Promotion Sim Sports. So great to see him out and about in another league as he is about to return to the pit lane. And we have another driver on just joined the server in the pit lane. So these drivers have got about 15 odd minutes before the driver's briefing fires up. And that will be led by the man himself, Steve Duro. Anyway, for those of you who are regulars with Go Race Promotion Sim Sports, you'll recognise Yas Marina. We were here ourselves not that long ago for the Super GTs. If I just have a quick look back, it was that was only a couple of weeks ago, on November 12th, that we were racing. So that's really good to see. So shouldn't need too much of a walk around this circuit, but in case you've forgotten how this track runs, let's go on board with Lieutenant Llama as he takes us for a lap around this brilliant circuit. Although drivers complain it's a little bit boring. Not really sure I agree with that. I think it's got some character to it. As Lieutenant runs a little bit over the curb. A little too much over the curb. Before we come up to one of the most exciting parts of this circuit, which is the bus stop, the track drops away. Got to hound those curbs as much as you can to try and get a good lap time. And then into the tightest hairpin on the track, which brings us onto this straight that just goes on and on and on and on. We quickly flick back to the onboard with on the Corvette. We'll see the speedo, see what speed the Corvette can get up to. 250, 265, almost 270 for hard on the brakes again. See even the Corvette with ABS moves around under brakes a fair bit under Llama. As we go through the second of the chicanes. And another bit of a break for the drivers to just get a little bit of a rest. Just have a think about what they need to do. For hard on the brakes again for another little complex of left, right and left. Unfortunately, Llama has binned it on us, so we're going to quickly jump ahead because I thought I saw this man here, Turbo S4. He was just ahead of Lieutenant Llama. So he takes us through the triple right-hander. Get the car pulled up while going around those that reasonably fast sweeper. It's not an easy thing to do. Before we go underneath the hotel and up towards the last two corners. nice clean exit up towards the final corner. Bit of a passing opportunity there if you are keen. And that is a lap of the Marina circuit. Geez, that Corvette sound mod is a little bit loud, I have to say. Anyway, we're just waiting for the server to populate completely. So I did see a little bit earlier, Ryan Ford jumped into the server. We saw Ryan Ford last night having a good run in the GT3 class. So great to see that Ford is out there racing still with another league. Here's a name that I don't really completely recognise. Looks like he's in a BMW Z4, is he? Yeah, he's in a BMW Z4. So this is new for us. We don't really run the BMW Z4 in our league, but GT Club definitely does. Well, that would be great to see another different car out on circuit as we... Oh, no, Lieutenant Lama just goes straight back to the pits. In fact, he leaves the server. So that is not a ideal start, as we're currently focusing on... Well, that is my car. The 16 Motorsport Nissan GTR, which I run in the TCX events with Go Race Promotion Sim Sports. And we actually have an event coming up soon. So if you want to get involved and have a bit of fun in some multi-class racing, definitely recommend the TCX events. 200 Ks of straight racing between GT3s, V8 supercars, and now GT4. And there's a good reason why people are leaving the server. The admin, Fearless Admin, has basically said that he has to reset the server. So we're going to quickly just jump out ourselves, and we'll be right back. Hello to Alex Spinozzi SimRacing. Great to see you back. Bit of a shame about last night's performance, but well, mistakes do happen. Hopefully you'll be back for the final round of the Super GTs at Suzuka. So while we're waiting for this little interruption to just to clear up. So, yep, the server has just been given the all clear, so we're going to quickly jump back in. But while we are completely waiting, let's see if we can't provide a few links for the... oh, come on, where are we? Oh, here we are. Right. So we'll get a few links up and ready to go to be copy-pasted into the chat. So, all right, hang on a second. Almost done, almost done. So, almost there, guys, and there we go. There's some links for you guys to check out. Of course, the GT Club Discord and the Garage Promotions Sim Sports Discord. We've got some great events coming up in Garage Promotions, and of course GT Club, what we're currently watching at the moment. So let's have a look. We are back on the track, or in the server at least. About 4 more minutes before we have to head into driver's briefing, at least for our drivers anyway. And oh, I see a Matt Southwell in the pits as well. So another driver that we saw last night in the Super GT League is back in action, still in that amazing looking Bentley. So great to see. Hello to Piper0260, mate. Where have you been? We've been missing you. You need to get out there and race with us. Very good, Ben. That's great to hear. First event should be TCX 300. Oh my goodness me, that looks like Steve Duro with no livery on his car. So, we'll have to just quickly jump out of the server. We'll just quickly try and fix that issue as soon as we possibly can. Let's see. We'll be right back. So we've almost sorted that little issue out. We cannot have the the league organizer running around with a blank car, but well, we're almost back in action. Piper, yeah, looking forward to TCX. Probably going to give the V8 a whirl, mate. Get into it. Make sure you put your entry in. Entries will close, I believe it's the 5th of January. So get your entry in nice and early. I have to say, the V8s are going to be... They're going to be... well, they're going to have a pretty tough run against the GT4s, I think, sometimes. Around some of the tracks. Goldie Bros, mate, go to sleep. Don't stand there saying you need to sleep. Get out there, go to bed, mate. Go to bed. Right, so we are now back in action. We are back in the server, and well, it's pretty dark already. We're running the having a night race tonight, or this evening, afternoon, or this morning, wherever you are in the world. As South is probably just learning his way around the track at this stage. I don't think he actually managed to get out and race at the Super GT event here a month ago. So as we continue to watch Matt Southwell in the number 63 Bentley. Saw him last night. He had a bit of a shocker in Super GT. Just had a lot of trouble dialing the Bentley in. As I've just seen a name Goldie Bros. Abu Dhabi is one of my favourite tracks, though, mate. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep at the moment. After last night's Super GT event, we had to run through a few little incidents behind the scenes, and yeah, I did not get to bed until 11 o'clock last night. So tonight is going to be very, very interesting. Right, so 5 hours. Jeez. Let's have a look at some of the other cars on track. Well, we got who is that? Is that Williams? Chris Williams, I think that is, in another one of the Mercedes. And here is Steve Jur in the nicely prepared Mercedes AMG 2020 version. Of course, we have seen Steve running around in the Super GT League as well as the sole pro driver in GT3. I think he's just switched his headlights off. That is illegal. Not allowed to switch your headlights off at night. There we go. Good man, Steve. Good man. So definitely keep an eye on this man. Although he's having a bit of a tough time with the AMG of late, apparently. Well, the race should start. Well, the qualifying session should start at 7 o'clock, Goldie. So, yeah, go have a nap, mate. Or you can get that lovely beverage we call coffee, and that really helps keep you awake, usually. Let's have a quick look around. We got there's Walker in the Beamer. He's actually going straight back to the pits. Ryan Ford running around in an Aston Martin tonight. We saw him last night in Super GT in the Corvette, as he is running the older version of the Aston Martin, but still original and the best. V12 Aston Martin. Gotta love it. See if we have actually got some onboard cameras. Oh, we do. That's cool. That's a good angle. We like that angle. That angle is good. So, actually, that's coming up as a Porsche. Why is that coming up as a Porsche? Yes, I have to agree, Ben. That Aston looks lit as hell. So I'll make you smile. I'll make you smile, Ben. There we go. The Alfa Romeo 4C GT3 version. That's not the best thing you've never seen before in your life. I don't know what is. Let's have a look at the onboard cameras with the Alpha, because I haven't actually had anything to do with it. Not too bad. Well, I mean, we of course have the Fiat Multipla as well. That's a thing in GT3 and Assetto Corsa. So I did it as a bit of a joke, but it checks out. And this thing in the hands of Dravelmir, well, it's quite formidable. Do not underestimate this car. I was actually a race driver in this league, but unfortunately, with the new deal with GT Club, could not continue racing. But I can tell you right now that that Alpha is quite speedy. Yeah, to be fair, anything he drives is fast. That is a fair assessment. Lieutenant Lama's still in the pits. Turbo S4, fastest man on track at the moment in practice in another one of the Corvettes. Having a great go. Hopefully we see him running around in Super GT next season. Of course, we have got one more round left in Super GT. And we've got a few drivers putting their name down just to be a wild card in the last round before we start looking at moving to the new mod of GT500. So, yeah, it's all happening over at Go Restoration Sim Sports. I think we're still waiting on a few cars or a few drivers to enter the server. I have to say this track is going to... I think it's going to be a really tight race tonight. There's a few good passing opportunities, but have to be very committed. Of course, that triple right-hander is one of those passing opportunities. As Vladimir Madretsky gets into second place in practice. So for GT Club, GT3 Masters, all three tyre compounds are available to each of the drivers. So in this session, we're probably seeing a few drivers just having a bit of a play around with some race setups on the medium compound tyres. So maybe some heavy fuel loads as well. Track conditions, Vet looks a little skittish. Well, let's return to the pits and we'll find out for you. So the track grip is 100%. Asphalt is 30 degrees Celsius, air is 22. And it looks like there is a northerly wind at 11 k's per hour. Don't know if that means anything to anyone out there. But also the conditions for these drivers. 150% fuel rate, 150% tyre wear. They do get some tyre blankets though, which is nice for them. So you just have to pardon me, I'm trying to negotiate my shoelaces at the moment. Fortunately, I literally just got back from work. My proper day job. We just saw then that Steve Duro managed to put in the second fastest time in the AMG. Of course, Steve having a bit of a love affair with the AMG. Let's see if this guy's on track. Yep. So Williams in the second of the AMGs. This one, the Petronas, almost the Mercedes F1 team livery. Actually, I think that is exactly what that is, the Mercedes F1 team livery. So, good to see that Williams out here again and racing. Ryan Ford now second fastest in the session. Turbo S4 has, big slide into the fence for Williams. We saw that happening a fair bit with the Super GT round. Drivers having a bit of trouble with that triple right-hander, getting the car to slow down. Particularly Duro was having a lot of rear-end swapping issues. But anyway, that was a similar mistake for Williams. So, as we wait for driver's briefing to start, I have a feeling that some of these guys are still just running around cutting some laps for some race data. In fact, while we're waiting, we're going to leave you on board with Turbo because I absolutely need a cup of coffee. I don't think I can do this stream without a little bit of caffeine in my system. I'm really struggling at the moment, actually. So I'll be right back with a cup of coffee in my hands. Be right back. Okay, and we are back. I've got some nice caffeine in my hands. Oh. Still waiting for the conclusion of practice so we can get into the qualifying session. But while we are waiting, let's have a look at the breakdown of tonight's event. So we quickly jump back to the pits. So we have got a 10-minute qualifying session, which will be enough for drivers to get in maybe 4 or 5 laps before we go into a massively long race. 75 minutes of racing. Boy, that is going to be something to watch. It's going to be an absolute marathon here for your commentator. As Mr. Bald, thank you for joining the chat. Hopefully we get another good race. We had a terrific race last night in Super GT. So hopefully we can go 2 nights in a row. We have just jumped back to my car. And we're now looking at Lee Walker in the BMW Z4. Which appears to be a very quiet BMW Z4. Might be one of the new electric models. It's definitely an electric model. It's super quiet. So obviously we got a bit of a sound mod issue for the BMW. As Ogsoski, I don't know how to pronounce that, promoting his Twitch channel in my chat. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. I'm assuming that you're actually one of the drivers on track at the moment, so I will allow this. Well, anyway, let's try and find a car that's actually making a bit of noise. And well, that is Lieutenant Llama, still making a lot of noise with the Corvette. That is a massively loud car, I have to say. Especially now with the sound mod from Steve Duro. Gets it wrong through the triple right-hander. As we said, that is a very challenging corner. Probably carrying about in excess of 200 kilometers per hour as you enter that corner. You have to try and slow it down to roughly 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Not easy to do. As we see Llama just get it a little bit wrong in the second last corner, so he's going to practice pit entry. Let's see if we can find someone else. Oh, we have a Turk Simmons on the track. In the Audi R8, number 68. Great to see Simmons on track. So Goldie, what was his stream? Is he actually in this race, or is he? Because if he's actually a driver in the if he's actually a driver in the race, I will allow it. Right, anyway, let's move on. Try and find someone. Oh, Apex Legend, no. No. Where is he? Where is he? Ah, there he is. Let's see. We will just... Banneroo! That's a banning. Not appreciated. Not appreciated at all. Check in with Matt Southwell. As I said a little bit earlier in the stream, Southie missed the round for Super GT here. I'm going to have a quick check. Check when this race is actually supposed to take place. There we go. Yep, there we go. So 10 past 7 is when qualifying will begin. So everyone actually in pit lane, which is a surefire way of saying that they are all in driver's briefing. Let's go for a quick fly around this circuit. I think I just took a massive shortcut across the circuit. So let's have a quick look at this facility. It's actually not a bad circuit. I don't know why it gets a lot of flack, to be honest. But whoa, what the hell am I'm in there. What? Okay. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. No, I'm not. Frocam is being a little bit of a dick with me. Anyway, here's one of the main problems with this circuit though that will challenge our drivers. This pit lane exit. It's very easy to make a mistake here and end up in that barrier. We've seen it happen. We've seen the professionals do it in Formula 1. But I think this has to be one of the most fun pit exits I've ever seen. What was the channel that did a self-promo in this chat? Good question. I don't know. I believe I banned him. Oh, what the heck? Okay, I've lost everything. We're just going to have to... Oh, God. Freecam and I are not mixing well at the moment. So we'll go around the track and see if we can't find an Easter egg. Look at that rendering. Brilliant. It's got to be an Easter egg around here somewhere. Wow, there are a lot of BMWs in this car park. It's got to be an Easter egg. Found a chopper. Not seeing much of a crowd. Oh wait, what was that? Oh, that looks like a yacht. That's a yacht. Okay, looks like we found our Easter egg. Yachts. Oh God, I've lost everything now. Oh God. Jeez. Oh no, I've broken it again. Not seeing any crowd, unfortunately. Let's try and chase Simmons around the circuit in free cam. A little bit of a slide there for the Audi. Oh, Mr. Ball, you bet he's fast. Well, I'm faster. Look at that. Flying around the dog. God, no, I've crashed. Okay. Oh, boy. Don't underestimate my my drone flying skills. So look at that. Complete the lap. I won't do that again. Promise. Actually, I can't make any promises at the moment. So I'd say we are just about ready to fire off into qualifying. Seatbelt wasn't on. Yes. So let's have a quick little look at some of the cars that are on the grid at the moment. Go on lap record and go. Nah, no, not that good. Not that good. So we have, of course, Walker in the number 25 BMW Z4. So this is actually the first time I've actually seen a Z4 being used. So this will be quite entertaining. Okay, then we move on to Simmons in the number 68 Audi R8. I believe this is his first appearance in GT Club. Hopefully he has a good round tonight. Moving on, we have then got Ryan Ford. Last night we saw him in a Corvette, and tonight we're seeing him in an Aston Martin as Vantage. Sorry, not the Vantage, the DBR9? Hard to tell. Moving on, I want to really focus on this car, but unfortunately that car is not racing tonight because, well, that is me. Anyway, Matt Southwell in number 63 Bentley Continental. Saw him last night as well, running the exact same car at Sugo. He had a great run, but just a little bit of bad luck in the on lap 9 on leg 2, which ended up collecting the entire GT3 field. Then we move on to Williams in the AMG GT3, sorry. The Petronas Mercedes F1 team inspired livery. I have to say it looks pretty good, except that's not quite lining up. That's going to trigger my OCD. Then we have Dravelmir in the Alpha 4C. There we go. They're into qualifying now. And everyone lights up the tyres and sends their cars out of pit lane. So, let's see who manages to get out on track first. I'm willing to bet it's this man right here. Vladimir Medretsky in the Alpha 4C. He will be the first one on this circuit. Goldie, I know I've disappointed you, mate, but I'll make it up to you. Because TCX event number 2, I will be out there in the GTR racing in that event. Hopefully that will be covered by GT Club's Steve Duro right here on Twitch. So I'll make it up to you. Mate, I always use the GTR. Love it. Great car. So, as we see Vladimir Medretsky getting warmed up for his first flying lap. Now, I think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this is actually a port from Gran Turismo, the Alpha 4C GT3. Piper. Never seen me drive it yet. It's true, never driven it in my lifetime. So, well, Dravelmir's just getting wound up to fire at the Alpha around the As Marina circuit. Jesus. Goldie is so mean to me. So mean to me. My route back to my own planet. What does that even mean? Anyway, Dravelmir is first out on track to start setting a time. Hopefully he can keep it on the track. Of course, it's very tempting to try and use all that lovely, lovely exit space, but he'll get a track limits warning. That would have been marginal for Madretsky. Of course, Vladimir Madretsky, our reigning GT3 champion here at the Go Rest Promotions Sim Sports. And I also believe he won AK Racing's GT3 championship in their last championship, GT3 championship in Assetto Corsa. So definitely knows his way around these cars and this sim. So I expect to see Madretsky somewhere near the pointy end tonight. I have a feeling that perhaps the Alpha might not be so suited around the circuit. It's been a very tidy lap so far for Madretsky. He's only had a few little oversteer moments, so wait and see what time he can put in. Rounds the final corner, gets a nice clean exit, uses the right amount of exit curtain. He will set the fastest lap so far, 2:09.8. Very respectable time. First one into the 2:09s tonight. And immediately runs it wide at turn 1, so that'll probably be scrapping that lap. Lieutenant Lama goes into second in the Corvette. 2 seconds off the pace, almost 3 actually, so I'd say that Lama made a little mistake, a little error. And, well, he's had to settle for second on this occasion. And straight away, Williams was into third, but he gets displaced immediately by Walker. As we wait to see the rest of the field streak through and put up some lap times. I'd say a lot of people have had track limit warnings, so not seeing many lap times posted up on the tower on the left-hand side. So as Southwell actually gets up into 5th position, 6 seconds off the pace of Madretsky. Madretsky just lining up his second lap. Wait and see what he can stop the clock at, whether it's an improvement or whether indeed he actually got a track limit warning at turn number 1. Well, he did improve a 2:09.5. Let's see, just behind him, Lieutenant Lama is coming up to the final corner now, gets a good exit. Probably not as aggressive as Madretsky, and he improves to a 2:11. Then we have just in the background there, Ryan Ford. He goes up into third in the Aston. So, great performance from Ford again. He's 2.5 seconds off the pace of Vladimir Madretsky. Let's have a look at Walker in the iDrive BMW. As Dura now goes to third, a 2:11.8. And Walker improves to a 2:12.8. Turbo S4, a 2:10.001. He is the closest to the back of Vladimir Madretsky's Alpha. less than 2 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. And as it stands, Dravilmir should get another pole position. Same thing can happen as we see Simmons just flash through in the foreground there. Say that Madrecki would be on an outlap. We did see him pop back into pit lane for some fresh tyres, maybe a slight adjustment on the settings. As Ryan Ford goes to a 2:10.9, Dravilmir starts his final lap as Simmons in the background there. He just keeps it under control. It's going to be a very slow time for Simmons. In fact, does not set a time. We're going to have to bring back stereo car self for this, aren't we? So let's see if we can't find him. There he is. So checkered flag out now at the moment. Oh, actually Turbo S4 has managed to displace Madrecki at the top of the timesheets. So we wait and see what Madrecki can do. He has started his final lap. Matt Southwell now goes up to 6th position in the Bentley. So great effort from Southwell. So it won't be the end of the world for Dravilmir, even if he's starting off of 2nd. Basically, with the rolling starts, it should be very even. So Madrecki comes up to the final 2 corners. Can he improve? Can he take back that pole position? Comes around the final corner now. It looks pretty good now. The car, less twitchy, less sliding. But is it enough? It is. He displaces Turbo by less than 1/10 of a second. How close do you want that? That is quite amazing. Although Turbo S4 still out there completing a lap. Can he displace Madrecki? He cannot. He does improve, but oh, so close. Wow, 0.054. That is the margin between 1st and 2nd. So let's run through the starting grid for you tonight for round 1 of the GT Club GT3 Masters. We have off pole position Vladimir Madrecki in the Alpha 8C. And starting beside him will be Turbo S4. The two separated by 0.05 of a second. So a great effort from both those two drivers. Row number 2, we will have Ryan Ford and then Steve Duro. Row number 3, we have Lieutenant Lama and Matt Southwell. Great improvement by Matt Southwell. He'll be fighting hard for the positions around him. While row 4, we have Lee Walker and I want to say Chris Williams. And then off the back row of the grid will be Simmons in the Audi R8 LMS. So we've still got a few minutes. So better sit back and get yourself a nice, comfortable drink. So if you want to get yourself a quick cup of coffee, maybe a cup of tea, now is the perfect time to do it. And then when we come back, we will start getting some predictions for the race. So we'll be right back. Okay, so 15 seconds to go. We have a rolling start, of course, with the GT Club GT3 Masters. Don't see any predictions in chat, unfortunately. But never too late to get in your bet. As the field makes their way off on their formation lap. As I do believe that they will be probably be starting on the back straight somewhere, just before the second chicane. Although you wouldn't be able to tell just how fast, just going off how fast Madretsky is at the moment. Of course, this is a time-certain race. As they make their way around. Oh, got a bet already. Bet on the Red Bull car, which would be Simmons. He's at the back. But, well, with 75 minutes of racing, anything can happen. So there's our first bet of the night from Mr. Bald. And, well, Mr. Bald, have you done something for us? Have you hit that follow button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our future streams? Just did? Yes, certainly did. Good job, Mr. Bald. Thank you for the follow. So now Madretsky, he is our leader, so he can set the pace. But I would say that he will be getting told to slow it down a bit and get set for a start. Yep, he is now starting to slow down a bit now, as the field will start getting into formation. Nice, neat 2x2. So on the front row, we have Vladimir Madretsky. Let's turn off stereo carousel. We don't need it anymore. Off of row number 2, we have Ford and Duro. Southwell and Lieutenant Lama off of row number 3. Then Walker and Williams off of row number 4. And then on bringing up the back of the field, just coming into shot then, is Simmons. All right, let's go into free cam. And we're going to follow the field off as they get set for a start. Keep an eye on the top of the screen because we should be getting a little countdown anytime soon. Or not. And we are away and racing. It looks like a great start from Vladimir Medredsky. Steve Duro has also got a great start. Ryan Ford trying to make it 3 wide into turn number 1. But looks like everyone's managed to get through nice and cleanly. They're still looking 3 wide. That's Duro, Southwell, and I believe Lama. Southwell going super wide there. We'll quickly focus on him. He loses a position to Lama. And look at that, a great sight. Night racing at its finest. Southwell trying everything he can to get around the Corvette of Lama. He'll go for the switchback and try and use the grunt of the Bentley to get out of the hairpin. Hasn't worked out for him. Up ahead we see Duro. He's trying to make a move on Ryan Ford. The Mercedes should be good under brakes. Here he goes. He looks at a move, but Ford just brakes a little bit later than him and keeps the number 9 Mercedes at bay for now. Oh, Duro just slaps that curb a little bit, just unsettles the car a bit. That will help Ford up just a fraction to get a bit of a gap. Have a look at that. That is 3rd all the way down to 7th. Nose to tail down the back straight into the 2nd chicane. And then, of course, we have Simmons and Williams in the background there. Oh, Lama getting a little bit... Oh, who was that? Was that Walker, did he? Oh, he just saved it by the looks of things. And he'll be working pretty hard to catch up to the back of Southwell again. And while this battle... Oh no, Simmons has dropped it. Off the track he goes. So, not the ideal start for Simmons. Still 75 minutes. He can make up that time. It's not over for Simmons just yet. So, Vladimir Medredsky, fast lap of the race at 2:17.04. As everyone else is in the 2:19s. Ford, in the meantime, he's managed to hold off Duro for now. He's also backing Duro into Lieutenant Lama and Matt Southwell. You just see him in the background. He's flying into shot around turn 3 and now into the bus stop chicane. Look at the back of Ford's Aston. As there's obviously no shortage of pace from the Aston Martin down the back straight. Duro hasn't got an answer for him yet. Oh, Ford runs a little bit wide. This will compromise him onto the 2nd long straight. Parks on the apex a little bit, but Duro manages to get better drive, and he now has the inside line for the next set of chicanes. So can Duro make it work? He's certainly in front, but Ford has gone super late under brakes. He won't be able to hold off Steve Duro, so Duro up into 3rd place. And now next in line on Ryan Ford will be Lieutenant Lama. So we're right on board now with Lama. Runs in a little bit too deep, and nips that front right tyre. Oh, we have a change down at the bottom. So Williams has had a lose coming through the triple right-hander. And I'd say he made the same mistake as Simmons. But these two have fallen back behind the rest of the field by about 12 seconds. So these two are going to be in a battle all on their own. But at the front, Madretsky still under fire from Turbo S4. Looks like for now, Madretsky has done just enough to keep ahead of Turbo down the back straight. That Corvette is mighty quick in a straight line. Right now, everyone just settling into their rhythms. They're just ticking off the laps. Oh, well, counting down the minutes, I should say. Just a time certain race, the GT3 Masters. This battle is still inseparable. Ford has managed to respond against Duro, and so the battle for third place is not over. Lama seems to have dropped off the back of these two. Oh no, Simmons has crashed again, same spot as last time. So back to the drawing board for Simmons. Huge shame for him. And while this battle again, 6th place between Matt Southwell and Walker. I think it's Lee Walker in the iDrive BMW GT3. The pit window is now open for these drivers. They have to make a compulsory pit stop. Southwell now is just starting to creep away a little bit from Walker. Unfortunately, the field just starting to spread out, although Duro now under a lot of pressure. Ford looking up the outside, though. He's not going to be able to make the move work. I don't think so, unless the Aston has some brilliant brakes. And no, he can't. So it is as you were a few minutes ago, with Duro trying to defend as hard as he can from Ryan Ford in the Aston. As we say, it's just between Duro and Ford. Lama starting to respond and drag himself back onto the back of Ford and Duro. And Southwell also setting up his fastest lap of the race. Walker going with him, both in the 212s, a little bit faster than Lama in the Corvette ahead of them. So this battle could still turn back into a 5-way battle before the end of this race. So, meanwhile, the battle between Dravelmere and Turbo S4 is still going on there. They're still... It just seems as though Turbo doesn't quite have an answer for the Alpha 4C of Madretsky at the moment. But, well, still have over an hour of racing to go. Anything can happen. And, well, it usually does in sim racing. Of course, last night we had a couple of technical issues with the Super GT race, but hopefully for the final race of the year we shouldn't have any of those issues again. So for now, Duro leads this snarling pack of GT3 drivers. Ford still pressuring Duro at the moment. Just can't seem to find or exploit any weaknesses that he can see from the AMG just now. So we now ride on board with him. The good news though for Ford is that they seem to have dropped Llama a little bit, while Southwell is down. Well, he's starting to catch everyone ahead of him in the 63 Bentley. There's also a gap forming between Turbo and Dravelmere. So, has Madretsky decided he wants to pull the pin? Oh, look at that. Ford runs a little bit deep. God, you just see the difficulties that Duro is having trying to rotate the car. See from that footage there, the Aston just seems to be quick enough down the front straight, but just doesn't seem to have the confidence to just leave his braking a little bit later. Oh, he's left his braking a little bit later this time, but geez, the Aston's got some great brakes. He manages to pull it up just in time. I thought for sure he was going to go straight into the back of the AMG of Duro. And while we are sort of having a little bit of a lull in the action, let's... okay, that's not right. Right, if you want to get involved in the GT3 Masters, or if you want to get involved in one of the Go Race Promotion Sim Sports leagues that you may have seen on this channel and indeed on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit those two links and get involved in both those really well-run, friendly community, really well-run leagues with a great community behind them. Of course, GT Club will be running a GT4 championship as their next league, while Go Race Promotion Sim Sports, as Ford thinks about a move, but he has to pull out of it for now. And, just return to my train of thought. Go Race Promotion Sim Sports is looking at a touring Australian Touring Car Championship, Masters Championship, incorporating the Group A, Group C car mods. As Ford now, he is on a charge down the back straight. That Aston has got a fair bit of straight line punch, but doesn't have the brakes. He's going deep. Can he get it pulled up? He can. Oh, he left himself vulnerable to Lieutenant Llama, and Llama's taken absolute full advantage of that. A great move, opportunistic as all get out. But Lieutenant Lama now up into 4th position. He displaces Ryan Ford in the Aston Martin. So what else can Lama do? As all that little battling is helping Southwell close the gap once more. But geez, what a great exchange there. And I think only a minimal amount of paint swapping occurred as well. Okay, Goldie. Yeah, mate, we are working on channel emotes. I do swear we are working on the emotes. It's just, yeah. Unfortunately, this time of the year for me and my full-time job, it's very, very hectic to actually focus on part-time streaming. But, we will eventually get channel emotes. But anyway, still haven't finished talking about what events are still coming up for Go Race Promotion Sim Sports. So on the 7th of January, we have our second event for TCX. We've made a few little changes after the last round. It was a little bit, well, last event was a little bit too long. We reduced the race distance down to 200 kilometres. And we've also replaced TCR with GT4. And let me tell you, we have got quite a decent entry list already, considering that we're still a couple of weeks out from the big race day. I can tell you right now, in GT3 you have myself, Matt Nipris, in the Nissan GTR, and I'll be taking on my brother in Chris Nipris in the number 61 Corvette C7R, which is basically what we're focusing on right now, and the number 75 of Kodak 7, who, if I'm not mistaken, is Ben Child, as we see Simmons the first in the pit lane. And then we don't have any entries in supercars just yet, but there's still plenty of time, plenty of spaces left in the server for drivers to enter. And then in GT4 we have got 3 entries with Zekin 97, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is Nash Murdoch. He is running a Supra GT4, and we have Ryan Ford currently in this race in 5th position. He'll be running a Ford Mustang GT4. And then Superstar Q76, another driver we saw last night in the Super GT League. He will be taking hold of a BMW M4 and tackling the GT4 class along with Ford and Murdoch. Meanwhile, we are focusing on tonight's battle between Steve Duro and Lieutenant Lama, as well as this ongoing backwards and forwards between Turbo S4 and Vladimir Madretsky. So I have a feeling that perhaps Simmons may have copped a drive-through penalty for perhaps track limits. Of course, GT Club, real penalty is mandatory if you want to race. We're going to have a quick look at how many GT4 drivers we have for the GT Club's GT4 League. Let's see, we have Taylor Simmons running in an Audi R8. So that's our first GT4. Then we have, I think that's Noah in a Janetta G55. Lee Walker then has entered in a Panos Avenzano. Dietmar Ruth in an AMG. That is Alfonso. Of course, we saw Alfonso last night as well in Super GT. Had a bit of a shocker, unfortunately, in the two-leg race. Lieutenant Lama running another Audi R8 GT4, and then Tom Lauder in a Saleen Sin R1. Polo 81 in a BMW as well. Matt Double in another Ginetta G55. Vladimir Madretsky will be running a Panos. Ben Ellis in another BMW. Then Chris Nipris in the Camaro. And Steve Duro running a Ford Mustang. So there's certainly a lot of competition in the GT Club GT4 Championship, and it hasn't even started yet. So make sure you get onto those Discords and see which leagues are putting on events that you want to see or even want to race in. Of course, racing tends to be a little bit more fun than watching, that's for sure. As, unfortunately for us, the battle between Madretsky and Turbo has really settled down, so I don't think we're going to see many changes in position between those two until we get up to the pit straight. Has just spread out a little bit. I'm sure we'll be getting close to some pit stops with 10 minutes left in the pit window. So everyone looks as though they're trying to push as long as they can before they make their compulsory pit stop. No, I think I've absolutely misread that. Unfortunately, 3 hours of sleep does do that. As we see, Lama now dives into the pit lane, so he is the second person to take a tour of pit lane. So I'm sure this will be a scheduled stop. It certainly is. So probably taking fuel and tyres. So a two-stop strategy is definitely on the cards tonight. In fact, Lama actually pitting very, very early. It's not going to count towards his mandatory pit stop, I don't think. And away he goes. So Lama now heading out of pit lane. It's a very slow crawl. We're going to ride on board with him for this pit exit. Now let's see if he can get it out in one piece. Certainly can. Unfortunately, this race has really just sort of settled down, unfortunately. We haven't got anyone to focus on, so let's bring up Turk Simmons. He's already putting in some pretty spectacular show for us at the moment, waggling the rear end of that Audi R8. So in fact, let's jump on board with Simmons. as now Matt Southwell into pit lane. So we're seeing a lot of early stops that won't count towards the mandatory pit stop total for these drivers. So Simmons gets it sideways again. I think we might just keep watching Simmons for now. He's definitely providing the most excitement at the moment. Sliding the Audi around the track. Certainly not the fastest way around the Yas Marina circuit, but it looks spectacular. Oh, actually, we're going to take a quick break from watching Simmons almost spin out because we have got a battle on our hands. Vladimir Madretsky, he has got Turbo crawling all over the back of him. In fact, Dravelmir is going to jump into pit lane. So, well, that ruined any hope I had of a nice little battle. What a huge shame. But, with Madretsky pitting this early, I would say that two-stop strategy is definitely the favourite strategy to try and get done amongst our drivers tonight. So be interesting to see where Madretsky comes out in. I'm sort of predicting he will come out around 6th place, or maybe actually a little bit further up, 5th place, I should say. So, as in fact, Ryan Ford into the pit lane as well. But, well, our new race leader, Turbo S4. He'll be trying to put the hammer down as quickly as he can, or at least respond. In fact, I'm a little bit surprised that Turbo didn't try to respond the second he saw Madretsky pulling into the pit lane. I think that undercut is going to come back and bite Turbo a little bit later down the road. Lama looks like he's in battle with Matt Southwell. So Southwell's done a pretty good job to close up the gap onto Lieutenant Lama. We're in fact going to jump on board quickly with Matt Southwell as we find the camera we want. There it is. As he tries to close onto the back of Lieutenant Lama. Down the back straight. Now, unfortunately for Southwell, even though the Bentley's got a fair bit of grunt down the straight, the Corvette is also pretty quick as well. So he's not going to have an easy time just getting around Lama. But, all he needs to do is really just drive a nice, consistent race. Try and put the pressure on Lama when he can, and hopefully gets an easy move. Southwell, very experienced real-life kart racer. He knows how to handle his race pace, knows how to handle his racecraft. Of course, I could be laying on the commentator's curse for him. I don't know. Tell you what, that is something we are very good at here at Go Race Promotions Twitch. The commentator's curse, as I said that. Southwell and Lama have come together. Not really sure what happened there, but oh geez, Lama having all sorts of drama, getting the car facing the right direction. Don't know what happened there. It looked like he suddenly lost power, and Southwell just really had nowhere to go. I think that'll be a protest, maybe post-race investigation. And it will leave that one up to the stewards. We're not the stewards, so we're not going to make any more comments about it. So in fact, I've just realised how tired I actually am. I've actually misinterpreted that pit's open as to what time the pit's actually open. And that's not it at all. They're closing in a minute 20. So all those drivers who have already pitted, they well, they should have ticked off their mandatory pit stop. Here we go, battle, round number 2 between Duro and Ford. As Ford has managed to get that gap down to under half a second between himself and Duro. And you could almost bet that just a little over 40 minutes to go. This battle between Duro and Ford. This is for the last step of the podium. Now we're going to jump on board with Ford so you can get a bit of an idea of where the strengths and weaknesses are of both the Aston and the AMG. And you see Duro having to use a lot of curb going through turn number 1. And whereas Ford is able to just not need to use too much curb as Duro gets it wrong in turn number 3, sorry. And that gave Ford a sniff of a chance. Goes for a little bit better drive out of the bus stop into the hairpin. And he's going to take a nice tight line. Oh, Duro, he hasn't quite got the exit right. But, well, that wide line, he's able to just sort of temporarily move ahead of Ford. So they're side by side going down the back straight. This is hitting speed of over 270 kilometers per hour as it's now a hard braking zone. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It looks as though it will be... Oh, Duro's sticking it around the outside. Has he got it done? No. He ends up yielding the corner to Ryan Ford. So Ryan Ford takes back 3rd position and a spot on the podium ahead of Steve Duro. But you can almost bet that Duro will not be willing to let that position slip out of his grasp without a fight. So as we were saying, we're going to get a good idea of where each of these cars are strong and weak. As we head up to this triple right-hander, who's got a little bit more stability than everyone else? Well, Duro seems to be able to monster the curbs a lot more than what Ford can. And I'm not sure if that's just better car setup or just the nature of these two cars. As they're about to tick off another lap, but this time Ford leading Steve Duro. As they head down the main straight. Duro hasn't quite got any answer just yet for Ryan Ford. So these two still battling away as hard as they can I'll tell you what, another driver to keep an eye on is Matt Southwell. He is really closing the gap onto Lee Walker in the BMW Z4, or the iDrive BMW. And in fact, that gap is now within a second between Walker and Southwell, so we'll probably swap over to that battle fairly soon. In fact, we're going to quickly swap over to this battle. So we got Walker. He's starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Matt Southwell in the number 63 Bentley. And to be perfectly honest, if you could hear that V8 screaming behind you, you probably would come under a little bit of pressure as though here comes a send from Matt Southwell. Now, that is a little bit of head games there. What he has done right there is he has sent the message to Lee Walker that he is not afraid to have a bit of a dig if he leaves the door open even half a centimetre. So that is going to play on Lee Walker's mind, I'm sure. They make their way through to the hotel one more time of asking. And of course, just remember, if you want to get involved, GT Club or Go Race Promotion Sim Sports, please make sure you check out both of our Discord. Links are in the chat right now. Make sure you have a go. Both these leagues are very, very new and still got a great community with a lot of people that are more than happy to help out, maybe give a little bit of advice, share a little bit of wisdom about racing, all in all just to try and help other drivers get a little bit better and a little bit more confident in racing. So here comes Southwell. He's closing up on the back of the Z4. Z4's got a bit of straight line pace, but the Bentley's got just a little bit more. He just can't use it in time before the hard braking zone for the first of the chicanes now. Southwell all over the back of the BMW. He's got a great run out of the first bus stop. Well, second chicane, sorry. Will he be able to get the move done? He's certainly thinking about it. And he has got the inside line. Last of the late breakers. And it is Southwell who makes an absolute textbook pass on Lee Walker's BMW. And now he will set off to try and close down 21 seconds between himself and Ryan Ford. So that battle is actually still going on between Duro and Ford. Once again, the battle for the lead is starting to tighten up with Turbo S4 starting to close the gap one more time onto Madretsky. He just can't seem to stick with Madretsky yet. Turbo is absolutely hounding the back of Madretsky. this battle, just nose to tail. It's been like this all race long for Turbo S and Dravelmere. Both these drivers just absolutely equally matched, and I don't really see any mistakes from these drivers being made anytime soon. So, oh no, Turk Simmons is out of the race, so a DNF for Simmons. Unfortunately, I think he may have just decided he's had enough, and he'll call that race, well, he'll call the race there and then. He's having a bit of a shock with that Audi. Okay, there we go. So Simmons, no practice, no time. Or no tune, sorry. Oh mate, plenty of time to get some practice in for TCX event number 2 on Go Race Promotions Sim Sports. Or even get some practice in for the GT Club GT4 League as well. So make sure you get over to those 2 Discords and make sure you see what else they have on offer. Speaking of what will be on offer soon with the Go Race Promotion Sim Sports, we are starting to get ready to wrap up the Super GT League, but we're also starting to get ready for our next league, which will be the Australian Touring Car Masters. Basically all the Group A and Group C mod cars that are available. As soon as I remember which website it is, they are all eligible and fairly well matched up as well from everything I've heard, and we're going to let all of them loose on a range of different tracks in the new year. But first up, we have to concentrate on Super GT and then TCX event number 2. So once again, GT3, GT4 and V8 supercars, and we're all going to be racing on the track at the same time at Kyalami on the 7th of January. So make sure you mark that one down in your calendar. Make sure you jump onto the Go Race Promotion Sim Sports Discord and enter those events, and of course make sure you head over to GT Club and enter their events through their Discord as well. They have got a GT4 League coming up soon as well. And I have to say, it is looking like a very, 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 very competitive championship already. And I'm certainly looking forward to broadcasting that one for you in the new year as well. Also, we have to have a bit of a talk about this Sunday. We will be back streaming again for the next round of the AK Racing ACC Endurance Cup, which I think is the first round of their Endurance Cup, and I believe it is the 3 hours of Silverstone. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit the follow button, hit the notification button as well, so that you don't miss when our streams start. As now Turbo S4 has learnt the lesson, I think, from the first stint, and just dove into the pit lane. He actually feinted that really well, and I think that may have put Madretsky off just a little bit. So Turbo S4, he's probably probably decided now that we're at the 30-minute to go mark, it's time to get some new tyres and go again. I'll tell you what, Ryan Ford has also done really well at the moment. He's cleared Steve Southwell to the tune of 12 seconds, and that is not something that you usually hear in sim racing. So Ford starting to get pretty speedy behind the wheel of that Aston Martin. In fact, he's going to dive into pit lane as well. So the number 52 Aston Martin back in pit lane. For his second stop of the night. And then he just drives through the 1.6 Motorsport GTR GT3. So it's rather nice of him. Now the question for Ford will be whether or not Duro has set that car up, that AMG up to look after the tyres a little bit better. And we'll have to wait and see when all the pit stops flush themselves out, where each driver ends up. So we'll have to watch Madretsky and see when he responds to Turbo's pit stop. I have a feeling though that Madretsky will be going as long as he can. It's just so he has some fresher tyres at the end of the race. Of course, with these longer races, you're generally trying to aim to be in a good position in the last 10 minutes. So it's not really important to lead every single lap in endurance racing. You just have to lead one lap, and that is the final lap. So Madretsky, gap hasn't really come down between himself and Turbo, although as I say that, now it starts to drop down a little bit. So the question will be, when is Madretsky going to pit for a fresh set of tyres and some fuel? But just looking at this 8C, you know what this 8C makes me think of? Makes me think of the Toyota Priuses in the Super GT Championship. And of course, all the 8.6s that are also running around in the GT300 class. That's what looking at this 4C makes me think of. So, I don't know, maybe it is actually a real car. Highly doubt it, though. So, in chat, let us know what you're thinking at the moment. Give us some race analysis of your own, just for a bit of fun. Maybe pick an early drive of the day. Then we'll see what actually happens for the rest of this race. We're down to the last 26 minutes of this monstrous race. 75 minutes is definitely a long way to race one of these GT3s, as Turbo S4 sets the fastest lap of the race, and that gap is starting to come down between himself and Dravelmir. But the question is Dravelmir actually going to make a pit stop? He could be looking at that gap between himself and S4 and thinking to himself, it's actually might not be worth making another pit stop. So he's going to have to start playing the long game and start looking after his tyres. If I'm honest, I've never really had much to do with the Alpha 4Cs, so I'm not really sure how it uses its tyres or burns its fuel. I can already see Madrecki, he's starting to struggle just a little bit with some point in. But let's jump on board with him and just get an idea of how this car is behaving underneath Madrecki. Still nice and smooth, so he's not having to overdrive the car or push it. It just looks like he's having another leisurely Sunday cruise in a race car. You can just see that front tyres seem to be holding up pretty well for Madrecki. So he enters through the bus stop. Although as I say that, I think Turbo has managed to rip another second out of Madrecki's time. Now, if you're good with math, probably work out that got just under 12 laps to go in this movie. Oh, race, sorry. Movie. I don't know why. For some reason, a cinema popped up in my head just then. But if we're good at maths here, so got about 12 laps left to run, and I don't think, unless something catastrophic hits Madrecki, I don't think we're going to see much of a challenge for Madrecki's win tonight. And it will be another win. It's just been almost pure domination from Madrecki. He is basically referred to as the god of GT3 in Assetto Corsa. Just a god, really, perhaps. Well, maybe not a god, but definitely almost on par with Andy O'Hara. Of course, we have to really sing our song praise for Madrecki. He won the final round. Well, he won the Go Race Promotions GT3 Championship, and he did it at the final round. So certainly he knows how to handle pressure and how to handle a car. And in fact, now he blinks. He is in pit lane now, with 22 minutes left in this race to go. We're going to have a quick look and see where Turbo S4 is. He is still a little way away. But what you got to keep in mind is that is a rather long pit exit. Have a quick look where Madrecki is. He's going to be in a bit of an advantage when he comes out, because he will be on fresher tyres that have done 10 minutes less than the tyres of Turbo S4. Turbo S4 actually coming onto the main straight. He will take the lead of this race. Oh no, actually Turbo seems to have a penalty, or at least ignored a penalty. Let's see where Madrecki is. He's going to come out behind Turbo S4, so there you go, S4, well, Turbo making a brilliant decision. So this battle will be worth watching towards the right through to the end of this race. Fortunately, the rest of the field has just sort of strung out a little bit, but unfortunately, the rest of the field has really spread out a bit, which leaves just this battle between Turbo and Dragomir. the closest battle on track, and that gap is actually starting to come down very, very quickly. So either Turbo has started to shift into conservation mode to try and preserve his tyres, or Madretsky is just going at full attack. And I'm willing to think it's the latter. Nope, wrong button. That's the angle we want. We're looking at the back of Turbo S4, and that Alpha is starting to get a little bit bigger. It is looming. As we head into the bus stop one more time, we should see that short wheelbase for the Alpha really work its magic through here as it rotates just that little bit quicker than the Corvette. But now the Corvette on the main straight is a little bit quicker than the Alpha. A lot quicker, has to be said. The Alpha also seems to be a little bit better on the brakes, so there is some strengths for the Alpha. As they head up towards the bay one more time. Here we go. Battle is now on. Madretsky is now all over the back of Turbo. And this is a complete reversal of what we saw a little bit earlier in the race, with Turbo absolutely riding the back of Madretsky. Madretsky fastest lap of the race, 2:09.4. He is on a charge. And this, you'd have to say that this is intimidation at its finest for Madretsky. That Alpha is working really well underneath him. So now Turbo, he'll be trying to use the grunt of the Corvette down the straight to try and pull away from the Alpha. This time, Madretsky's able to stay a lot closer as they head through the second bus stop. As we see, Matt Southwell has taken his final pit stop. He'll be right to go through to the flag. We're going to quickly swap over to Matt Southwell as he comes through the pit tunnel. He'll be down in 5th position, just a little way behind Steve Duro, but on fresh tyres, fresh fuel. He is going to be on a charge. We will keep an eye on the number 63 as the race goes on. Oh, look at this. The battle is definitely on now. Thought I heard a little bit of contact that lifted the rear wheels of Turbo's Corvette. This is now what is lurking in the rear vision mirror for Turbo. Something I do notice is that Madretsky not running with his headlights on, not even flashing the headlights, not really trying to pressure Turbo as much as what he probably could. again. Turbo plants the Corvette on the apex. Does not give a chance for Dravelmere to try and get up the inside into the hairpin. There's only 7 laps left to run in this race if my maths are correct, which they normally aren't. So Turbo's still leading the way. Can he withstand the pressure? He's very good at applying the blowtorch to the back of Madretsky, but now it's his turn to have the rear bumper on that Corvette melted by the blowtorch from Madretsky. This is the nose to tail driving from both these drivers. Are we going to see a sand? Not quite. Just starting to wonder if Madretsky is happy just sitting behind. Oh, he almost touched the back of Turbo's Corvette. So here are our 2 leaders. Had to tick off another lap. Turbo would be looking at that flag box and just praying that the checkered flag comes out a little earlier. Now right on board with Madretsky. And just to add a little bit of spice to this race, we got lap traffic just ahead. So I think right about now, Madretsky would be wishing that the Alpha just had that little bit more straight line grunt. Oh, Madretsky makes a little mistake there. He just grabbed the exit curb in the braking zone on that triple right-hander. Just maybe sent a little bit of desperation starting to creep in for Madretsky. Now Madretsky, he is really applying the blowtorch. Again, Turbo goes defensive. It's almost, I'm not sure that Turbo really needs to go defensive on Dravelmere there. Corvette, we've already seen, he has got enough straight line speed to just pull away from Dravelmere, even with compromising his mid-corner pace. again. Madrecki is really starting to force Turbo to go defensive, so Turbo is under a lot of pressure at the moment. And also a big shout out to Seat100. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for the follow. Oh, Madrecki gets it sideways. He manages to save it. That Corvette of Turbo, it is very wide. Almost see a little bit of frustration coming from the Mad Russian's ears. He's trying to probe everywhere he can to get the move done. He's thinking about it, goes for the long way around. Oh, he's almost got it done. This will be send of the race if he pulls it off. He is in front. He's done it. Vladimir Madrecki, what a move around the outside. That is send of the race. Brilliant move by Vladimir Madrecki. He now takes the lead of this race with just 8 minutes left to run. Can Turbo respond? That'll be the real question. And while we're coming down the back straight, this is where the Corvette is strongest. Additionally, Duro has managed to bridge the gap between himself and Ford. So can Turbo, he just doesn't have enough straight line speed now against the Alpha. The Alpha's got a lot of mid-corner pace now with those fresher tyres. And in fact, the battle is on between Ford and Duro. They were side by side. In fact, Ford has gone into the pits. Oh, he's taking a penalty. Oh, no. So Ford has received a penalty. Not exactly sure what for. But, well, he is. Either way, that has ruined his race and his chances at a podium. We're going to recheck in with this battle. Just see that Turbo is struggling with getting the drive out of some of the slower corners, and that is just helping Dravomir start to make his escape. So now once again there is a lull in the action. So this will be a perfect opportunity if you are keen to take part in some sim racings as part of a really, really good and friendly community of sim racers. Make sure you get onto Discord and get on with GT Club and Go Race Promotions Sim Sports. Here is the links to their Discord right there. So still got plenty of spaces available in the GT3 Masters in GT Club, although they are coming up to their final round and they are about to start a GT4 championship next year. And of course with Go Race Promotions we've got one more round left of Super GT before we move into event number 2 of TCX. Of course, a brilliant, quite a lot of fun little event with GT3, GT4 and V8 supercars all sharing the track at the same time for 200-kilometre races. That is going to be a lot of fun to watch. If you have not already hit the follow button and the notification bell here on Twitch, what is wrong with you for a start? But you should definitely get onto that as quickly as you can. So, looks as though Madrecki is just starting to pull away and show a clean pair of heels to Turbo S4. Tell you what, someone else who's on a charge again. It's Ryan Ford. He's closing the gap very, very quickly onto the back of the Aston Martin of Matt Southwell. seeing Ford. He's just trying to get the nice, good drive down the back straight, but that Bentley has got plenty of grunt down the straights, I'll tell you right now. And time is running out for Ford as Ford uses all the space available going into the second chicanes. I'd say that's how he's probably gotten the drive-through penalty with track limits. Oh no, Ford has binned it. So there we go. Oh, such a shame for Ryan Ford. He was doing a fantastic job. And oh no, he's looped it again, trying to recover. He is losing lots of time. I want to say that Walker will be coming through now. And he will take 5th place away from Ford. Oh geez, you got to feel for Ford. He will be absolutely furious with himself after that mistake. Just got on the throttle a little bit too early, and that is pretty well bin of the night. Dravelmere. He'll be coming up towards the last lap of this race. In fact, he's starting to back off a little bit. He actually wants to make sure this is the last lap of the race. So, last lap time for Vladimir Madretsky. It's been a great battle, a titanic battle between himself and Turbo S4. It looks like as though superior strategy has played its role for Madretsky as he heads around turn number 3. The final time as the leader with a 3-second gap to Turbo in the Corvette behind. Down this long back straight once more. The gap will shrink between himself and Turbo ever so slightly. The straight line grunt of the Corvette, unparalleled here in the GT3 Masters. As we have unfortunately no other battles around the circuit, so Dravelmere going to stay on board with him for this final lap. He heads up towards the triple right-hander that leads us towards the hotel for the last time. A little bit of a slide. Nothing he couldn't control though. Under the hotel for the last time. He stretched that gap out once more. And now Vladimir Madretsky will come around the final corner. And it is another spectacular win for Vladimir Madretsky. And he's going to bin it into the fences celebration. Turbo S4 will come home in 2nd place. A well-deserved 2nd place. He could have taken 1st. And now we're going to see a little bit of donut action by our crazy Russian. Everyone's favourite Russian. Oh, we're going to see some synchronised burnouts here. Let's have a look at our 3rd place running driver at the moment. That is Steve Duro. He's had a bit of an up and down race. Just did not have the pace tonight to match Vladimir Madretsky. he will come home a happy man with 3rd place. In fact, flashing the headlights, you can barely see it, but was flashing the headlights on the Mercedes. So well done to Steve Duro. And Matt Southwell will come home. He'll be happy with 4th place in the Bentley. And just behind Walker, he's coming under a little bit of pressure from Ryan Ford, who's recovering. Ford flashing the headlights as much as he can. It's not going to work because, unfortunately, it's too little too late for Ford. He's going to have to settle for 6th position. And that is race done. As, oh, we got some burnouts going on here. Oh, look at this, a great line locker there from Matt Southwell. And he loses it. And Steve Duro doing a real good burnout right here. Oh, he's popped one tyre. Well, that's a great effort. Well, let's just assume that Ryan Ford's going to be able to hold it together, because this would make it pretty good. No, he's not. Okay, let's have a look at the final results for this 9th round of the GT3 Masters from GT Club. Vladimir Madretsky, your winner, ahead of Turbo S4. Steve Duro will round out the podium. Matt Southwell comes home in 4th position ahead of Lee Walker. Ryan Ford in 6th place. Lieutenant Lama 7th. And Chris, I believe that's Chris Williams, comes home in 8th position, with Simmons, unfortunately, the only DNF tonight. So, great racing all round. Honestly, drive of the night has to go to Turbo S4 and Dravelmere for such close and clean racing. But anyway, we are going to wrap this stream up for you at home. Certainly hope you've enjoyed the action. Certainly not going to be the last time that we bring you action from the GT Club League. So make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well, because we've got a bit more action coming up soon. On Sunday, we have got the AK Racing ACC Enduro, I believe from Silverstone. That is going to be a lot of fun to cover. Yeah, so make sure you're part of that. And then, of course, next Thursday, we have got the grand final for the Go Race Promotion Sim Sports Super GT League. Very close at the top. It is Chris Rafalo leading the championship ahead of Alfonso, or Dietmar Rath, depending on what you prefer to call him. 5 points between them. And it is also very close in GT3 as well, with Justin Rediex looking to take his first league win ahead of Steve Duro. It's definitely going to be a very tough battle between those two drivers. But anyway, the only way you're going to find out what happens is if you hit the follow button, if you hit the notification bell, maybe even subscribe if you feel like it. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are in the world. We will see you next time. Goodbye.